Yes, and maybe would you mind, if you're able to, maybe share
Mm-hmm.
like some of, you mentioned leaders have fears, and before they're leaders, they're people first. And I noticed in the men's workshop, you had a session where men shared their fears, and I'm assuming that you also maybe had a session for the women. Maybe would you mind sharing what were the general sentiments that, what are the things that women are scared of, and what are the things that men were scared of?
Well, it's I mean, we don't really get into what we're scared of. We get into, what are the different things that challenge us.
Yes, yes.
What confuses us? What are we not clear about? And to be honest, the themes tend to be the same because everyone, Andrew, just wants to be appreciated and valued for who they are. They want to be paid fairly for the work that they do. They want to feel purposeful. They want to be in relationships that are elevating, whether it's a personal relationship, an intimate relationship, or a professional relationship. The themes tend to be the same. The only difference comes in when you discuss the challenges that you face because you're a woman. So, for example, women are still paid less for doing the same thing. A man will say, "This is how much I charge," and he will be paid that amount. But a woman with the same credentials or even more, when she says, "This is how much I charge," we still have a bit of pushback. So we talk about such things. We talk about how um, women have been saddled with going out there, bringing home the bacon, but then also looking after the home. And that is work. It should be looked at as work. What time do women have just for themselves if they're working outside the home and working inside the home? So those are some of the unique things we discuss with women in workshops. Self-love and self-care is so important. The mentality of putting yourself last, women are starting to realize, is not very helpful. If your cup is half empty and you're giving and giving, that's how you end up being depleted. And that's also how you get physically unwell, when you're not rested, when you haven't looked after yourself. And for men, of course, there's the pressure of being a what we call a success object. How much money are you making? How big is the car you're driving? And the need to feel connected and bonded to other men in a genuine, real way, rather than just always keeping it superficial, talking about sport, etc., etc. So the conversations are very interesting, very adventurous, but it all comes down to everybody just wants to feel valued. Everybody wants to be respected. Everybody has personal burdens that really frustrate them, and they just want some solutions, some tools, ideas around how to deal with that. Humans are humans, and I have clients overseas. My clients are not just Kenyans, and it's the same themes. It's the same themes. There will be a difference, for example, between a Kenyan client and a Belgian client, because the Kenyan client is also dealing with politics and all the issues that come with living in Kenya. Now, the Belgian client may not have some of those issues, or the Italian client may not have some of those issues. But on a personal level, I find that the issues are the same. And isn't that fascinating, Andrew? It doesn't matter whether you're Italian, Belgian, or Kenyan. A lot of individual issues are the same across the board. It just tells you that humans are humans. We are the same everywhere we go. Our differences are superficial. Maybe you grew up in a certain culture where they do one thing and they don't do it in another culture. But deep down inside, I find clients are the same. And I run the same coaching program for local clients that I do with overseas clients, and it works for both.
That is a very interesting feedback. We normally think that people in other countries, their problems are different from ours, but wow, it's good to learn that. I guess at the fundamental level, we all want the same thing. To be valued, to be loved. And you mentioned something which I find is new vocabulary. I'd like you just to expand a little bit about it. You mentioned about self-love and self-care. What do those really mean?
Yeah, good question. What is self-love? What is self-care? A simple way to look at it is treat yourself the way you would treat your best friend. Somebody you genuinely care about. Somebody who you want to see succeed, somebody who you want to be happy. Treat yourself the way you treat your best friend. If your best friend came to you crying and he or she said, they're so tired, are you the kind of person who's going to say, come on, stop that, just, stop your whining, get on with it? You'd be pretty heartless if you did that. You would listen to your friend, you would comfort them, you might give them some hard truths, but you would be caring. But we find many of us don't treat ourselves that way. We're quite hard on ourselves, and that's not helpful. So treat yourself the way you would treat your best friend who you love and respect and appreciate. Do nice things for yourself. Give yourself permission to start those projects that have always been close to your heart. Give yourself permission to leave a toxic situation, whether it's personal or professional. Say yes to yourself more. Andrew, one of the reasons why so many people are resentful of successful people is because they are not giving themselves permission the same way those successful people are giving themselves permission. Give yourself permission to run with that crazy, wild idea. Give yourself permission to rest when you're tired. Give yourself permission to go slow so that you don't burn out. Yeah, it's all about, for me, self-love is all about giving yourself permission and treating yourself well, having a reverence for yourself and your life. Your life is precious. Andrew, when I had the miscarriage, I became so aware of the miracle that is your life. I started looking at myself even more differently. I started looking at my neighbors and just random people on the streets and just thinking to myself, wow, does this person understand that they made it? You've made it this far. It's important to have a certain level of reverence and, deep respect for yourself and your life. And unfortunately, I don't think many people see their lives that way. You're a miracle. You're a walking, talking miracle. Take it from me. And let me tell you, Andrew, a lot of women have lost babies. Miscarriages happen more often than people think. You're precious. You're very, very precious. You made it. You're still here.
Thank you for sharing that. You've made me realize how we use that term loosely, the gift of life. And wow, you're right. Just looking at it through your eyes, everyone is here. They could have easily not been here. So it even helps me appreciate anyone and everyone. So I do thank you for sharing that. I know it must not have been easy, sharing about your miscarriage. I do thank you.
Yeah. I shared about it on a platform called Engage,
yes.
Engage.co.ke. There are a whole bunch of really amazing talks there. So I was invited to speak, and that was the story I shared. So people can go and click, do the search on YouTube.
Yes, what I'll do is I'll post it in the show notes. So whoever is listening, you please go to my blog after you're done. Listen to this conversation at revengeoftheforsakengods.home.blog, and I'll list all the resources that we've been talking about over here.